To island trip, text trip, only two on my client is beach. Oh yeah, full of tender girls, yes. We got a little I love flying to Hawaii like it's close to me. Got 5 hours to the land with an ocean breeze. See nigga views, good food, and the woman tender. Bay Area. To the islands with a culture blender.
Tell me something about the water.
It is oh so tender.
Are there beaches everywhere?
Take a drive and end up on the side of the road. Stop it is a must. Take a list.
Right?
That's my jam. I love that song.
I love that song.
It's based on our Hawaii trip. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. Song reviews, recaps, and more. We have renowned author James Jackson. He is here. He remembered the books.
For anything y'all ask is I do this shit. This is my where's my camera? Okay, I do this shit, y'all. This is mine. Both of my books are here. And more is to come. So I decided on my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. Make sure you subscribe. I am going to read chapter 1 of both books. I'm going to designate a time because I have finished the sequels. I just need to get them out. Publishing the book is expensive, y'all. It's not a cheap thing to do. But I have finished the sequels to both books, and I am going to go ahead and read a sneak peek of both of the sequel books and also catch you guys up, especially those who actually have bought my book and have read it. I'm going to give you guys a refresher on where we are and see if y'all figured out who this guy is. Who is that? Because no one, I think 2 people who have read my book out of maybe the 50 that I know have read that book have guessed correctly who that is. Only 2 people.
Well, let me reread the book.
Reread it, yeah.
I haven't read your book, I don't think, since 2020. That's a bad thing, but
it wasn't released in 2021.
2021. It was COVID. Something COVID though was happening.
COVID was happening, and we were getting out of COVID because this book came out February of 2021, and then this one came out September of 2021. They both came out the same year. Okay. I had 2 books. So I had a friend. Another one of my author friends was like, "You had 2 books out in 1 year?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I haven't had 2 books out in 5 years. How the hell do you get 2 books out in the same year?" I said, "I'm meant to do this. I wish God blessed me with, the serenity to completely quit a regular job and just live off like my royalties. Like I wish my royalties were that much where I could live off and do this full time."
It's coming. You just got to keep writing.
Yeah.
You got to keep writing. On one of my podcast lives, I'm going to be doing a live video podcast where it's like philosophy. We go over books, kind of like an online book club, all types of shite. We'll have you come on there one day and read some.
Yes, I would love to.
Exposure. Support your people. That's the best thing you can do for them. Usually it's free too, or $14 on Amazon, which is nothing. Anywho, moving along. We're here to go over Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13, episode 6. This episode I thought it was interesting. Let's get into it. So Doris and Crystal, for those unsure, we do not call Dorit on this fucking channel. James is the one who says he felt like her name was Doris. So if you hear Doris, we're referring to Dorit. If you don't think that's her real name, type Dorit in your phone with autocorrect on and watch that bitch correct it to Doris. That's all I'm saying. Moving along, Doris and Crystal go to Kyle's house to have lunch. And while there, Kyle brings up Sutton and how animated she was about Erica. And Sutton was lit in that scene. We seen her pouring the drink up in the cupboard in the pantry. And it is what it is. So Kyle takes no accountability when explaining anything. She always finds a way to make it whatever's happening someone else's fault, but she can never be accountable. In the 13 seasons that this show has been on TV, it's very rare that Kyle says sorry. And if she does say sorry, it's usually after the entire group has apologized, and she probably feels like she has to also. She's never taken accountability for shit. She just won't. It's everybody else's fault. And down to her sisters. So she tells the story of Sutton as if Sutton is the only one going crazy, and Doris co-signs, and these are some old ass mean girls. Okay. They are the golden girls in training, except they're not nice or golden. Like these women are awful, in my opinion, Doris and Kyle. Doris insinuates that Sutton has a drinking problem, which kind of pisses me off that you would insinuate that about Sutton. Doris, considering the fact that your husband looks like he smells like the bottle. And as for Kyle, you've been getting drunk and doing a split multiple episodes for 13 seasons. So it's interesting that y'all say Sutton might have a drinking problem. When Erica, I'm not done, was on Lexapro tripping out on children and people and whoever the fuck else would, but y'all insinuate that Sutton has a drinking problem. Let me explain something to you about people from the South. Okay, my family's from Mississippi. We got family in St. Louis. Some people consider that the South, but I got family in Mississippi. Lots of family in New Orleans and Kenner and Shreveport. I got family in the deep, deep South. Okay, and some of them watch. Hey, family, how you doing? But on a serious note, people down there drink. Okay, when I went to Mexico just recently, then people drink differently than we do. They must the tequila tasted for me and my husband was about 34 shots. We was stumbling out that bitch. Okay, like people drink differently in different places. The South is a place where people will drink a little bit more. Those sweet teas you see ain't just sweet tea. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. There's more to the sweet tea. So yes, Sutton drinks a little bit. I also think that when people come on camera, they may tend to drink a little more as a way to cope or feel comfortable. But I don't like when you insinuate someone has an alcohol or a drug problem publicly without us knowing that they do. How did you feel about that, James?
I felt like it was one, the pot calling the kettle black. And then two, I felt like it was the other one trying to make something more than what it is. Shout out to Crystal in this scene in her confessionals that was calling a spade a fucking spade and calling them both out on their bullshit and that's how you know Crystal is a real friend of Sutton. Because she sat in that scene and rolled her fucking eyes so many times. And I was like, thank you, Sutton. I thank you, Crystal. I wish you would have spoke up then and defended your friend. But I'm going to take it in a confessional. I'm going to give you ease because I know how the two Karens can be. So that's why I'm not mad at you for not speaking up and waiting to your confessionals. But at the same time, I wouldn't have gave a fuck. I'd have said, y'all some hypocritical ass. Let me get up out this house.
Kyle, like I said, that's why I explained all I said. Because Crystal absolutely did bring up that fact that Kyle just randomly stopped drinking. And see, listen, they have everything to say about other people. And Kyle and Doris are the two shadiest on this cast who need to not be a part of the cast, who've been threatened to be left off the show a couple times until the stuff with Erica Jane happened. And I'm tired of them. That's not a friendly thing to do. The fact that they were making jokes too about the drinking on Sutton's end. So which one is it, bitches? Y'all concerned she has a drinking problem and y'all laugh at it all in the next sentence? Like, y'all are whack. And that's why
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't feel like something was lit in that scene. I really don't. This is my opinion. I don't feel like when Sutton was doing her name. I don't feel like she was drunk in that scene. I think she was fed up with Kyle, and I think she was trying to prove a point about Kyle that Kyle was trying to insinuate about her, and it worked. And
Kyle, while you sitting up here, because I peeped when Sutton said, "You treat me like the little sister you would want, you would wish." Let me explain something. Kyle, I think, is upset that Sutton is close with her sister. I think that is true.
Oh, absolutely.
But the second thing is I feel like Sutton would go in on Kyle a little bit more if she was not friends with Kathy. So at this point, I feel like Sutton might be.
No, Sutton toned it down, but Sutton was right. She does treat her like a little sister because at the same time, we see how you treat your sisters.
Like shit, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. We see how you treat your sisters. We see when you was in the back of the limo season 1. I keep bringing that shit up because I want y'all to understand that shit was terrible to do. And I didn't even realize, because I told you this was my first introduction to Housewives. I didn't even know that was her fucking sister until she said mom had to die worrying about you. And I said, oh,
you don't say
never say no shit like that, because the guilt that she already feels guilty that she was an addict. Now here you is insinuating some shit about your deceased mama
publicly
in front of a camera while your sister looks physically broken. And you sitting up here doing that. So yeah, you do treat them like I said, you treat your sisters like trash. You do.
Yeah.
So yes, her assessment was absolutely right. That's why I can't stand how the fans of this show are really treating Sutton like she's the problem when y'all need to look at Kyle again. Y'all need to put your second eye on
Kyle
her
has a
because
very
you're
good
looking at her
way of
blind.
manipulating the fans. I also think a certain
Yes.
type of fan, they're just going to look at certain behaviors and be like, oh, this is awful, but not look at what could cause it. People could say what they feel. Kyle has excuse after excuse, but Kyle Richards seemed to be a little bit of a bitch. I'm just saying. Moving along, we see Sutton and Garcelle have lunch together, and they talk about the situation with Erica. And I just feel, I don't know. Kyle defends herself, but inserts herself into shit that she really shouldn't insert herself into. In my opinion,
Right.
Kyle is a bit of a bully when it comes to Sutton. I don't think Kyle has ever been a good friend to Sutton.
No.
But the confessional of the scene when Sutton's like, yeah, you know, she has a sapphire ring and Sutton loves sapphires. And, you know, she notices, anyone would notice a sapphire ring. Like my wedding ring, the engagement ring part of it is an emerald. And people are always like, oh my God, because it's like this big colorful gem on your finger. People are going to fucking notice it. In my opinion, those gems are more noticeable sometimes than diamonds. Long story short, she brings up the fact that Kyle has a new ring and thinks that's a piece of what's wrong. And Garcelle, she throws the best shade ever and says, listen, I noticed when Kyle had gotten robbed because, you know, she had changed her wedding ring because they stole her wedding ring, things her mother had left her. They stole stuff. She didn't have much, right? But she says, the only thing I noticed is when Dorit had her robbery, she still had her rings. I said, listen, and that clip is going around online because nobody believes Dorit. Like,
no,
we focus on the wrong things.
Yeah, when I saw last season, I said I don't bit more believe this shit. And then to make it worse, the shit that happened with her purse getting stolen that had $10,000 on it that she said she was going. Yeah,
listen,
like come on, like we're not gonna play this game, Dorit. We're not gonna play this game. I'm
claims
like Camille.
adjusters, please look into Doris Kimsley.
Yes, please look into Doris Kimsley.
I'd appreciate it.
Yes. And reference Camille Grammer because she the one that pointed the shit out in detail online first.
Give her a finder's fee or something.
Yes.
Because listen, the people, some of the richest people we know, biggest billionaires, as we're seeing with celebrities, are the shadiest people. And sometimes it don't come out until later.
Purse gets stolen, they get the insurance money for it. That's what they usually do.
Absolutely. So Sutton then brings up, you know, other instances why she thinks that Kyle is acting a fool. And I'm like, yes, Sutton, keep your foot on Kyle's neck even when she's not around. Remind us. Thank you. Because the tabloids was full of rumors, and Kyle been on the show 13 seasons and always goes off on people when they bring up a rumor about her and Mo. All the kids is grown. We don't care anymore, Kyle. We don't. We just don't. So moving it along, and I just want to remind people, Kyle has ran someone off the show. You seen Ken Todd give Kyle give her the door to show her the fuck out of the house. Kyle and her antics has ran people off the show. So I'm just kind of like tired of Kyle as a whole, but it is what it is. So we didn't see Erica meet her new publicist because the other one leaked the stories last season about what was going on with Kathy Hilton and the ladies. And that was like a big point of contention for these ladies. So she finally admits that he did do it and she fired him. So she has a new publicist. And y'all was getting at Sutton and Kathy and everybody about it. And Erica
and the shit ended up being true.
It ended up being true.
It ended up being true. And we all knew it was true because who else would it have came from? And see, and that's the problem when I saw that scene, I was like, see, Erica, you old fucking.
No, I'm not even mad at Erica. Erica's proven herself to be.
No, I'm mad at Erica because she's made such a stride to say, I am not a liar. I am not a liar. I am not a liar. No, I didn't lie. I don't lie. You don't you ever call me a liar? I don't lie. Those are people who lie about everybody. Let me tell y'all something. Everybody fucking lies. Everybody lies. Everybody lies. There's no person on this earth that has not lied. If you tripped, you would lie and say you didn't. That's a lie. So I don't want to hear Erica and these semantics. And then the fact that you just pointed a blatant out, sudden, you better bring this shit up at the fucking reunion. You better point that shit out, and I'm telling you, and this is where I want Kathy to make a sneak peek like Jamie Lee Curtis did and sit on that couch and say, so I thought he didn't say it. I thought he didn't leak it. You said your people didn't do it, Erica. What happened?
Listen, this is why you Housewives of Beverly Hills fans need to stop holding on to the thought, oh, we need an original housewife. No, the fuck you don't. What you need is the housewife that has ran many other housewives the fuck off this show to be gone. And those two are Dorit and Kyle. Facts. So moving it along, Erica and her publicist, they talk, and her publicist mentions the obvious. People have uncertainty about her. They're not interested in working with her, not just because of the accusations, but because of her attitude and response to them. And that is what people need to understand.
Yep.
Erica has tried to say, I'm not going to be indicted. And have I been indicted? You know, she makes that comment. And you haven't yet. But you also said that all these lawsuits were done. And you have a bunch of more lawsuits that have been brought against you. Your divorce is not being granted by a judge because it appears to be shady in the court of law. In addition to that, we don't know if you're at fault or not at fault because most of these cases have not been settled in or out of court yet, for those who are wondering. And you can go look that up in the docket or whatever the hell you look up because they haven't been settled. There's still news articles. It's just there's so many that people stopped caring, in my opinion.
Right.
There's so many. We got this for like a constant year and it's still happening. So our publicists and them are, you know, companies that want to hire Erica are looking at this, and her publicist mentions that this has been a problem and she basically needs to rebrand herself, help people to see her as something that's not a liability, because when you behave like a heartless bitch, people don't want to work with you.
Right. You become difficult.
Yeah. No one wants to work with a difficult person. They want to know that, you know, they don't have to go through that at work. No one should want to deal with that at work. So,
right.
You know, the publicist says what we've all been thinking. Erica, you need to take some accountability for something in order to repair your image. And she accepts it from the publicist again. But I find it interesting when anybody else says this, like Sutton last fucking season. She wasn't asking you to just admit fault. She wasn't asking you to perjure yourself. She's asking you to take accountability for the fact that you received stolen property. And that's essentially what happens, because the rest of us regular people, if James goes and steals a candy bar and then sends that candy bar to me and then I eat it, they're going to be like, well, why did you eat it if you know that it's stolen? It doesn't matter if you knew at that time, but you knew now. So why didn't you rectify it? And that's what no one gets. So Erica has to figure that out. And she says she wants to perform again. And she does have a Las Vegas residency. Tickets start at $8. But I mean,
I hear it does really well, from what my understanding of it is. I hear that her show does really well, and I hear it does sell. Like, I actually have a friend in Vegas who says that he has taken a few of his ladies that he's dated to that show because they want to see her perform, and they're big fans of the Real Housewives. So it must be really good if, you know, that's what the outcome is. But I just find it amazing that this was the outcome of her being able to stay on a nationally syndicated TV show and rebuild her life piece by piece when the same opportunities are not afforded to somebody else that, you know, may not have been the same color.
That's
going
true.
through the same thing.
That
I feel like this is the privilege that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the privilege that we're talking
about. Good
about.
example, Phaedra Parks and her situation.
Right.
She wasn't on TV for a while.
For years.
Luckily, she has her own businesses and stuff, but you know.
She's able to flip an investment, and that's the thing, because she's smart like that. But the thing about it is that she was deemed to be finished, and it wasn't that fans got tired of the same old shit, that we needed her back in some capacity. And we're not saying Phaedra is perfect. Let's be very, very clear. I just like to see Phaedra, because I know Phaedra just be lying, but it's convincing, because she says it with a straight face. Lawyer trained. That's why I like her. Anybody that can lie like that, oh, absolutely.
Child.
I love you, because that's crazy to me that you can do that shit and have a straight face and primp your lips up together. That's just perfect.
Child, I tell you, because that's what Erica does. She's a good liar. So
absolutely,
we did see Garcelle go out to eat with her son Jax, and Jax is spoiled. I'm saying it. I don't care what nobody said. That boy is spoiled, and it shows, and he's kind of has like a high pretentious attitude, as if he knows
very much so
everything, and that usually shows in kids that are spoiled and or have been given everything, which wouldn't surprise me, because I can tell that Garcelle feels a lot of guilt about the divorce, which we find out that Jax, I guess, was aware of things when they were splitting up. They had a disagreement and he asked a question and her and her husband tried to shelf it. Listen, kids are just as smart as adults. The only thing is they haven't developed with certain forms of reasoning and communication that would help them to express and show that they understand in a responsible way. But that doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on. So whenever parents try to shield them from stuff, that's what psychology and science says. Nobody can argue me on that. Kids are smart, babies.
No, I'm not saying kids are smart, but it's something about this sit down and him explaining this I don't 100% believe.
I think that he sides with his dad more based on his behavior.
I think he can get away with more with the dad. I think that's really no. Let me explain why. Because the fact that you're this angry at your mother, the mother who didn't do wrong, by the way, and the fact that you're this content on thinking you're grown enough to be on your own, that you don't need her, makes me feel like you have a lighter leash over at that dad's side, and you're saying this to punish her because she doesn't have the same loose leash. That's what this is giving me. It does not. I mean, I'm not trying to negate that he may or may not have known of his dad's, past with his mother, but it gave to me that you were trying to tell your mom that you don't have as tight of a leash with your dad that you would with her, which is why you favor being with the dad more than you favor being with her.
That could be true.
Honestly, that's because
if he's the one who destroyed everything, then some parents do spoil their kids or not say much because they're scared that they'll further. And maybe
exactly. And the thing about, and that's what I'm saying, with her being gone, that doesn't help the situation either, which is why I said that I feel like the way he talks to her and the way that, and when we lead into the first episode up into this one, it all comes down to the simple fact that I feel that because he can guilt her into always being away because she's working, and when he comes to her, he can tell her, you're not doing your job. And it's because the leash is a lot lighter because of the father who's still in the same city all the time.
I just wish, to everybody, I wish Garcelle was raised Haitian. We know they don't play. I wish that she would channel some of that Haitian side and tell her, boy, you don't tell me what you need until you at the age where legally you can know what you need.
Absolutely.
If you're not
and that's the thing. And that's my problem with Garcelle with this situation, because my mom would never let me talk to her like that. My mom, not at that age. No, not at that age, in general.
Yep. I agree.
So that's why I'm saying there's a lighter leash on that dad's side, and he wants that same freedom on this mother's side, but this mama not going for that.
What he needs is to stop giving his fucking mom problems, making her feel bad on camera when your daddy done publicly embarrassed your fucking mom.
Right, exactly. And what you need to do is be grateful, because
be grateful.
Yeah, be grateful for what you have, because most kids your age do not have a famous mother that can afford to put you in a lot of this shit and get you what you want.
Or to order Wagyu beef just to go out to eat.
Right, exactly. We can't. A lot of moms cannot. A lot of single moms cannot do that, and are able to live the dream they always had.
We
a lot of moms
cannot do that. Top ramen, hot sauce.
No, I ate well. Let me say, for me having a single mom, I ate very well. But the problem with my mom is that when she was a single mom, I was not hard on her for where she lacked, is what I am saying to me. Because there was days my mom was always busy and working and coming home and being exhausted and not really wanting to fundamentally, until the weekends happened, develop with us day by day, because she didn't have the capacity to do so. And she admitted that to me when I left for college. She goes, I realistically, did not know that me not always being emotionally available to you guys every day was a problem. So that's where I feel like Garcelle, to me, that's where I feel like she needs to let him know, look, I don't have the wherewithal to always be in every given moment with you because I have a career that takes me away from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's never a situation where you can't pick up the phone and call me. And I
The
think that
thing
that's
that I don't
where
like about her son, though, that irritates me, your mom had the same career when she was with your dad and was working at that time too. Maybe
I
not
think that they were
as
so much
much,
younger.
not as much. Yeah, but I'm just saying she had the same
But
career
that's I think
and
that
they
there
were
were
eight.
I
You
think when she was
remember
married to
8 years
that man,
old.
yeah, I think when she was married to that man, they were at an age where they weren't able to notice it as much as when she left him and they were getting older and having to go back and forth between this house and that house. I think age does really do play a factor in
I
that.
don't fully buy that because she said he was 8 years old when he found out or had the conversation about it.
When did
I
they
feel
leave
like
each other?
most kids can remember 8 a little bit. The other thing, I feel like the dad, when trying to explain it to the sons, may have been like, well, because your mom travels so much, this is why this happened.
No, she couldn't
I
have.
don't know
Okay,
what's going on in
here's the
that child,
thing.
but I feel like it's something.
Garcelle divorced this man in 2011. Those kids are
Mhm,
what, 16?
mhm.
They couldn't have been 8 at that time.
Oh, well, she claims he was 8. She
He
said
could
it
have
on
been
the
8 when
show.
he found out when he was 8 years old. How old was that? Was 8 years ago, right? So that was what,
Mhm,
2013,
mhm.
2014? No, that's all
It
2015.
was 8 years ago was 20
15. Yeah, no, there's yeah,
22.
no. He probably read in the tabloids and probably, had
He
a
says he
question.
looked it up.
Yeah,
So
so he could have did that at 8 years old. But
either
what I'm saying is
way,
she was out the house, is what we're
either
saying.
way, I don't
Yeah.
like what this young man is doing to his parents. She needs to take his ass to a soup kitchen or something, or Crenshaw Boulevard, as you like to say. Take
Hmm.
his ass down to the flatlands. In California, we call that the hood. Like, take his ass on down to the flatlands and let him understand what he's missing. Yes, your parents divorced. Imagine your parents divorcing and being poor.
Right.
I had to go through that. Not fun. You
Exactly.
got
Yeah.
people
You
arguing
don't
with each
know how
other
good he really does
over
have
which
it.
hour they go pick you up in a Buick. That's not fun. Okay. But a little Debbie stat. Anywho, moving it along.
Girl, I'm not doing this with you today.
It's true. So I think Garcelle and her kids will work through it because she is trying to open up lines of communication, make them feel safe to talk, and that's all she can do. I think that which one was that? Jax. I think he's just gonna have to learn with time. You know, eventually you will become an adult. Eventually you will have
Oh
to
no, it's gonna hit him.
go
It's
through.
gonna hit
He'll
him.
learn.
He gonna
He will
apologize
learn.
to his mom at some point because he gonna realize being an adult and actually having that type of commitment to somebody and children is going to
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
rattle him in a
And to
way that.
anybody watching this now, later, live replay, however the hell, this is not licensed to talk about the kid. We don't talk about children. I'm saying
Right.
he's spoiled based on what's been shown to us. And nothing's wrong with that. Some kids are spoiled, and usually the ones that are learn by their own experiences. They go through their
I
environmental
agree.
behavior. Anywho, so we did see Kyle meet up with Morgan Wade, who can't sing. I went and listened to some of her music. Her accent is cuter than her voice. Uh,
Okay,
country
that's deep.
music. Just want to know the genre was started by Black people, and we've just had a bunch of us perform at the Country Music Awards, and that's a wonderful thing. But this lady can't sing. She just can't. And Kyle says she was moved by her voice and all types of shit. I went and listened to her songs because I like country music. That's something me, James, and another friend have in common. I love me some country music. I will slap that shit through the hood. I don't care. I will. And this lady can't sing. And if you listen to country, some of them got more of a twang and accent than they do talent. But it's the same with rap, and every other genre.
Yep.
So Morgan Wade is not the
Mhm.
greatest vocalist that could come. The songs
Nope.
weren't bad, but they were just like cliche, like every bit of the stereotype of country music. So for those wondering, it's a big deal to see Morgan because Kyle is all over the tabloids with this music woman. They have matching tattoos together. They kept their friendship for the most part a secret from the public, as much as as quiet as it's kept. She tried to keep the friendship a secret. So I'm surprised to see the lady on the show, but I'm like, I guess that's Kyle's way of being open, even though she's bullshitting us still. Um, Kyle, in my opinion, the way she acts around her, she acts like she likes this lady in a way that is more than I would like a friend.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I have girlfriends, and yes, girlfriends can be close and stuff, but like the way that she was like, oh my gosh, Morgan, she seemed more interested in Morgan than Morgan in her. I'm gonna just say that. But Kyle was acting a little weird around Morgan. So Kyle says something else stupid. She feels pressure to have a party at her house where they cook food in the form of edibles because people have been complaining that she's not drinking and all of this. And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing that I've heard.
I mean, I looked at Kyle and I was like, see, this is why I can't get with you on the show.
We're supposed to accept that you can't drink, but do you feel pressured enough to do edibles? That makes no
right.
sense.
It just makes no sense. Like, what is the real problem why you gave up drinking? What is it? Because it was numbing your subconscious? It was.
Were you missing what Mo was really doing?
Yeah, like, or were you depressed behind it? I need to understand now, because when you said this didn't make any sense. Because how the hell did this turn into everybody else having a problem with you not drinking just because someone brought it to your attention of something you used to do prior with them?
No one has a problem either. It looks like no one has complained. That
nobody really cares, but the problem is,
except for Doris, but everyone else is just like, why aren't you drinking?
Yeah, it's like, why? What made this change? Because is it a huge concern? Should we not drink with you? It's like, that's what people are saying. Like, she's like, well, you know, Kyle's pretentious, so of course it's going to come out like it's something superficial, or you know.
I don't know. I just think it's weird to say that you're not drinking, but then to have a marijuana party all in one, especially one with edibles. For those,
because it's still a substance.
Weed is legal in my state. I do smoke marijuana on a daily. I don't be messing with edibles like that, because even as someone who smokes regularly, that shit will knock you on your back, your forehead, and the tippy toe of your pinky foot. I'm trying to, like, edibles are more intense, and it's because of how it digests. I'm not getting into the science of that, but they're more intense. It's just what it is. So I'm like, I'd rather drink than do edibles, honestly. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's a little odd, but you know, I do want to say to the call center, I took this note: address call center on behalf of James. Why the fuck did you guys film this? It didn't tell us anything. You're just kind of dancing around stuff that we've already seen in the tabloids, and I don't care. Then we see Kyle get a tattoo, a bougie tattoo, and the fake dramatics were irritating. Like, why are you screaming? For those wondering, tattoos do not hurt that damn much. It depends on where you get it. And when you're getting tattoos the size of Kyle's, they're usually over in 20 minutes. I've got a little Gemini symbol on my ankle. It was over in like 7 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Like, Kyle is doing all the dramatics and Morgan's looking at her like, you're kind of different on camera. Like, that's the look she was giving Kyle to me. But I didn't get it. I'm like, okay, they're friends. Kyle chased her down, apparently. That's how they met. Kyle went searching for her. And her friends were starstruck. And I believe that happened because Morgan Wade is of a different age bracket, different area in publicity or public-wise. So it's kind of weird that she even knows Kyle, and it makes sense. Kyle came looking for her. And she said the lyrics to her song and her beautiful voice got her. And the voice was and the song lyrics were interesting. Like, obviously Kyle's going through something. That's what I'll say. It's like if your woman start listening to Keisha Cole and you're part of the Black community, be concerned. Okay, she's mad about something. Like, it's odd that Kyle is listening to that. So moving it along, she goes to show Mauricio her new tattoo. He seems to be wanting to try with her, and you can tell like something happened between those two.
I was just gonna say, it seemed like something happened, and he feels guilty about it, and he's trying to ease.
He was like, "Okay, Bubba," like using pet names and trying to be
sweet. Trying to be sweet, and it was like, "Okay,
I'm gonna see that tattoo again." Like, dang, Kyle.
Because Kyle, it was something happened, and because it came off as like it was guilt. Like so you trying to, you know,
he didn't want to say too much.
It's kind of like the Justin and Whitney thing, as I told y'all, why she attracted to him, and when he would fuck up, I guarantee you he does them tricks, and it gets her in that like submissive kind of like, I can't resist you, but at the same time I'm mad at you, but I'm just gonna go with it. That's what it gives me. It really does. It gives me that.
That's exactly what it gave. Naya
Mhm.
Green says Kyle is definitely transitioning into what I don't know, but she is going through it. We could empathize with Kyle and like her so much more if she would tell us she's going through it. When Nene leaks, I always use Nene as an example because when she went through what she went through with Greg, RIP to Greg, but when he was alive and they went through their thing and they split, she talked to the cameras about it. She was like, I just don't feel it. She had moments,
Yeah.
that's the things, those are the things that make and help the fans to empathize with you and like you as a housewife, because we know that a lot of this is scripted or redone. So it's nice when you get a moment of realness. And I don't know why Kyle is so against that. Your reputation's already fucked up, chick. You've been dropping in the splits and getting drunk, going off and outing family members on
That's what I'm
TV.
saying.
Like,
It makes no sense because it's
keep
like
it
you
real.
already have this fucked up ass perception. So I don't understand why you're trying to clean it up now versus when you could have cleaned it up 15 years ago when you were on the show yelling at your sister in the back of a limousine about your mama and her addiction and her problems. You could have easily cleaned up your image then, but you didn't do it. So it's like, don't try to do it now because now we feel like it's fake. Because you have to understand, Kyle led into this whole franchise saying that she's the luckiest woman alive, saying she has the perfect marriage, saying her children are the gracious things of life, which they are precious. Their children are very precious. But she goes, Mauricio does this. Oh, he cooks steaks on the grill and he feeds me every day. You led us to this fairy tale ass life you had, all for this shit this season to crumble and you go in a different direction.
Yeah, that's exactly what my next note says. I don't want to watch Kyle and Mauricio if they gonna bullshit us.
Yes, I don't either.
Like,
And
I'm
I
a
agree.
married woman. I've been irritated in the bad places with my husband before. You know, anyone in a relationship, married or not,
Yes.
you can tell when couples are like not good. They not cool like that right now. And he's always in his office.
Well, yeah, it's going
Nah.
to give, and that's where she went wrong because if you were going to showcase your marriage on national TV, showcase it all, not just when it's good, because when it becomes bad, then we're
Gonna
trying to
know.
figure out where the hell the problem could have lied versus just being real. Like there's gonna be days I don't like you, there's days I love you. It's just that's just it goes in cycles. It's never a consistent thing. But she only wanted to showcase what was so great about her marriage. So now that the shit is unraveling and you can't fake that shit anymore, it now makes you look crazy and you come off as fake to all of us because there's nothing
Well,
that's
she's
explained.
also, I feel like, milking whatever issue she's having for attention and
but she won't say what
that's what
she won't say
annoys
what the
me.
issues is.
She went
That's
on
what
an
I'm saying.
interview
She
and was
can't
like,
milk
yes, I'm
something.
filing for divorce. And it's like, why are
Right.
you telling us? Just fucking
Why you telling? Yeah, just do it because
stupid.
at the end of the day, you're not saying what it is. You haven't revealed whether or not it's infidelity. You're not revealing whether or not he's just too selfish. You're not revealing if it's irreconcilable differences. You're not saying what it is. So we can't feel sympathy for you if you're not going to be honest. And I know you're going to get to it, but I think that was Sutton's point. And I feel like because everybody was trying to jab at her because she's asking this, it was a way for her to say, if we're friends like this, why won't you say what it is? So that way we can all at this
And
very
she's still trying
moment.
to respect the friendship by not saying it. But speaking of Sutton, we see Sutton with the matchmaker, and I don't know why she invited Doris. Doris is not a friend. I wouldn't want we have a comment I missed. Apologies. It says we can't find it in us if she won't give it to us. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Nia. Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's like the best
exactly how you word it. Yes.
If you won't give it, we can't give a fuck.
We can't, yes.
That's simple.
Yes, exactly. Very good.
But Sutton has Doris come for this stupid matchmaking thing. I never trust those types of situations when you need a matchmaker.
I don't either. I feel like that's a scam I need to get into.
It's not a scam I need to get into.
I do. I feel like that because yes, I do.
Doris, she's the wrong person though.
Oh, absolutely. If anything, if you couldn't have Garcelle there with you, you should have got Crystal there with you. because Crystal's the other friend that was going to be honest with that lady and say what the hell the problems are.
I would have loved her to call even Kathy Hilton to come.
Oh yeah, Kathy. Hell, she could have called anybody, but Doris of all people. First of all, Doris ain't honest with herself. So why the hell would I trust Doris and a matchmaker to try to set me up with somebody?
I'm not trusting no bitch that takes out $10,000, leaves it in their purse, leaves their purse unattended, and then cries, "I need insurance." No.
Okay.
Doris
okay.
is
Hide your purse, Sutton. Doris walked in the room. Hell, that's what I'm gonna say to you. Hide your purse.
Hell. But at this event, Sutton did throw some shade about Dorit falling in love with PK. And it teaching her to be less picky. I'm dying because the shade that was in there.
It was shady, but it was also true as well. Because we all feel like Doris ain't giving that man for looks of attraction.
Listen, Whitney president of Salt Lake City. James said he has dimples and he has a good smile and he's calm. PK, I really feel like he doesn't smell good. And I'm going to leave it there. But moving it along, at this little, matchmaking shenanigan, the matchmaker was hella, animated. And the only thing I felt that was, proved my point of why Doris shouldn't have come is because she kept telling Sutton that she's not self-aware. And I'm like, Dorit, I'm going to call you what you want. For now, Doris, you can't tell anybody else about being self-aware when you are not aware of the fact that them headband wigs don't work. And the other thing, you're self-aware, but you getting robbed left and right. You ain't seen nobody come and fought nobody off, but you're self-aware. You're self-aware. Doris, where are you living right now? Go look some shit up, y'all. I hear her and Paul Kimsley are not together anymore. Now that his money's really gone and she's had to use
Doris, you're self-aware, but we don't know which accent belongs to your mouth.
Your accent, the people she says she's Portuguese, Lebanese, and some other stuff. None of them sound like Doris.
So I want to understand what definition of self-aware do you have that makes sense to any of us? That shit was funny coming out of her mouth. I laughed at that scene. I said, I know Doris ain't talking about nobody being self-aware.
That's still being nice, missus. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be cool.
Doris is self-deflected. We'll say it like that.
I don't want to hear shit from nobody who's married to somebody 20 years older than them. I don't want to hear it. That's how I feel about Doris. But, it is what it is. Moving it along, the matchmaking scene, I guess, was but we do. Okay. Why do we have to see Kyle tattoo Morgan? You're gonna cause the guy to lose this.
Girl, skip this scene.
No. I just want to ask, why did we need to see this? I feel like that's production trying to do what Kyle's not doing. Oh, you're not gonna give us the real, and we're gonna edit this however the fuck we want. But it just felt like Kyle did the most. So the next thing we see is Kyle's event at her house. The weed event that she threw because she feels pressure to not be sober. The stupidest shit I've heard, but I had to hear it. This is where we meet Annemarie, who is supposed to be one of the housewives. She is newer. And Annemarie is married to someone who was it the NFL? He played some sort of sport.
Yeah, he was an athlete of some kind. I forgot.
Athlete, very common in California, especially in Beverly Hills. Yep. And I found it interesting. Anne-Marie's like, oh, I'm an Aries. Annemarie, Kyle's mom, Big Kathy, who there's a very interesting documentary out on. Apparently, Kyle's mother was hated throughout Hollywood. And that might be why her kids didn't really have much, except for the roles they had when they were kids, if you notice. But there's a documentary out on Big Kathy. I watched it, and I'm not going to repeat any of what was in it because I don't want to get sued because I have no money. So coming after me would do nothing. But it's interesting that they don't talk about that either on the show. Anywho, Anne-Marie's birthday is April 17th. Kyle's mom's birthday is April 17th. My dad's birthday is April 17th. So let me tell you something about Aries. They good until they not. I was raised by one. I'm trying to tell you right now, they good until James is looking at me like, you bitch. They are good until they're not. An Aries, they'll be the most well-spoken, punctual people. They're very smart. They don't like to let you know what they're thinking, but don't piss them off. I think I covered that correctly. Y'all be worried about Geminis, but it's the Aries you need to worry about. So when she said that, I took that as like that's a red flag a little bit. I'm in the signs. I'll be having an astrology live on December 9th. So we'll get into that. Anywho, Annemarie's okay. But Kyle does not seem to want to make peace with Sutton, in my opinion, because she keeps bringing up Sutton as she did to Faye Resnick, who is also problematic. Google her. Basically to everybody who was at the party before Sutton, she talked shit about her. Like if I got an issue with someone, even if we're like falling out of friendship or going through it, I'm still going to respect the loyalty of my friend and not be talking about that to everybody, especially your friends, because then they're going to feel away even after you make up.
It's just for me, when I was watching her do that, I was in my mind, I was like, this was the exact thing she was talking about that you do when she brought it to you. And you said that that's not true. You just did it this moment, right now at this dinner. And it's like, I don't know how much more clear Sutton can be. Like, I just don't understand. See, and if I was Sutton, I would stop showing up to shit.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I would stop showing up to shit because at the end of the day, you're not going to play with me like this. You're not going to play like I don't have a valid point of your treatment of me when you literally demonstrated blatantly. Like it's literally right there. And it's like, Kyle doesn't want to see, because as I said, when you said that she treats you like a little sister, no, she doesn't treat you like the little sister. She treats you like the two sisters she has currently. That's how she treats you. Like she doesn't, I don't know what it is. It feels like when women have more than what she has, I'm not saying money wise, I'm just saying fulfillment wise, she always likes to down them in any way that she can by telling them
Alison Dubois. She said that shit season 2.
Yeah, she likes to downplay women's like inability of being them because she doesn't feel 100% secure in herself. And that's really why, and as I say, and if for someone to be pretentious and just so self-absorbed, that is so funny to me that that's how she looks at other women. It's so crazy. It's like it's irony at its best.
Yep. I'm gonna agree. So the next fun thing we see is Denise Richards and Camille. I don't know her new last name, but Camille Grammer.
Camille Grammer. I don't care what you.
I don't know the new last name.
I don't care who you married to, Camille. Your last name is Grammer because that's what I knew you as, and I was a fan of your husband. I watched Frasier for should it come on right after Golden Girls.
He was also behind Girlfriends.
Yeah, like that's like like his name. Like I would have kept Grammer if I was. I don't know why she changed her last name. Like crazy, I'd have kept that last name.
If you really done with somebody and you don't
look, let me explain
the settlement. I feel like Camille got a settlement similar.
Oh yeah, she got a
good amount.
She got a huge settlement.
So she's like, I don't need your name when I got your money, boo. I'm not mad at you, Camille.
No, let me say something. No, you live in a place where name go further than money do. So when I'm telling you, when you can get a head seat at Mr. Child's, and when you can get, when you can actually get a free meal at Katana's using that last name because they could say you was up in this place. Absolutely nope. I am Tina Turner. I am keeping my name. You can have all that other shit. I am keeping my name.
Not with you. We also, that's true though, in California.
Yes, a name gets you. When I tell you my last name don't get me no fucking where, and it is a famous last name. I promise you, when you attach to somebody and they know you was attached to that person, that name gets you far. That's why Kris Jenner still uses the last name Kardashian, because it gets her in certain places that Jenner does not.
That's actually true. I agree. Said keep the money and the name, girl.
Yeah, she got both of them. Like she got to keep Grammar. It was like you got to keep it. I don't know why you would get rid of it. That's so stupid to me.
Listen.
Camille made me, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to carry on, but just Camille makes me mad when I think about that because I can't believe she did that.
I feel like maybe her new husband was like, "You gonna have this last name.
I would shut my ass. If I married Camille, I would shut my ass up. I changed my last name in grammar. Shit, hell, like
I can always say my husband is a rapper. That's where the B3ST came from, and Mrs. Best. And if he leave me or if I leave him, I'm gonna still be Mrs. Best because that's what people know me as. And I'm
shit,
going
if I
to
married Camille Grammer, you really think I wouldn't be James Grammer?
I can't stand you.
You really don't think I would be James Grammer? If I married Camille, do you really think I wouldn't?
Oh, shit.
I'd be James Hilton. I would be.
She said white people problems though. They do wild shit. That you know what? That's true. It's
Very
no
true.
at all.
They
The
do
truth
they
can't be
do
shady. That's the
irrational
truth.
shit. That shit don't make no damn sense when you think of the benefit. Because think of what you had to endure. You've earned that name. Think of what you had to endure.
Thank you. I had a friend I was talking to who was like, so if you ever break up with JoJo, you gonna change your last name? No. Because for anybody who knows, do you understand I had to go to the Social Security office and DMV?
Right.
Okay. And then people call me to this day. Amina Charles.
Well, I can call you that because that's what I knew you as.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about companies, people still be calling me by my government last name. I had an ex do it to be petty. I was like, don't get beat up now. This is crazy. But, I'm just like, I'm not changing my name again. The shit that we go through to have to change our names, I'm keeping it. I don't care how he feels. You can marry a new bitch and everything. I'm going to still have this last name. And we going to be having it together. But, I'm a crazy Gemini. It is what it is. So we see Cynthia Bailey also, which I'm like, oh, you're cool. Cynthia's everywhere lately.
I'm trying to tell you.
She left Mike Hill.
And let me ask, Cynthia, why you wear that wig?
James. We like Cynthia.
I love Cynthia, but Cynthia, don't wear that wig no more. And Garcelle don't wear that wig either.
Garcelle's hair I'd be mad at Garcelle's stylist, and I think my people within the Black community gonna feel me here because when you put on these wigs, there's a lot that goes into it. Okay, it's not just like it was back in the day where you put on a wig and you just go. Like,
yeah, because Cynthia wig looked like she just got out of church, and Garcelle wig like she just got through frying chicken. You know how you stop playing. Y'all know when y'all auntie be frying chicken and she ain't trying to take off her wig. So what she do, she put some pins in it on the cap so it won't go nowhere. Y'all ain't gonna play with me.
Niagara said you earned that name. It's yours.
Right.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna show him this message later. Like, look what Naya said. We fuck with him. Lord Jesus. I cannot with James though, because that does Garcelle did
yes,
at the barbecue, the family reunion.
Right, the family reunion. She in the kitchen sweating, but she don't want that wig to fly up off her head, so she get to pinning it down. I'm telling you, I've seen it. That's why I know what that looks like. I don't know why Garcelle and Cynthia was playing with us. I don't know why they was playing with us. Beautiful Black women, and they couldn't get the wigs together. Cynthia's wig was so dry and natted. I said, Cynthia, don't do this no more. Don't you ever do this again. But I'm gonna give you a pass because I love you, but don't you do this no more. If I catch you doing this again, Cynthia, I'm gonna read you. So please do not do this again. Do not put that wig back on your head. And Garcelle, you better not ever do this shit no more. Because you know better. Garcelle know better.
When Cynthia and not Cynthia, but when Denise and Camille came, I said, "Here comes the shade. Here comes the shade," and I mean that in the best way because one thing about Camille, if you know on this show, you will not get away with bullshitting, lying, or withholding. Camille don't play that. And I will give Camille that. So before we could get to that, Sutton pulls Kyle aside to talk before everyone gets to dinner. And she explains that part of the reason she was on 10 when Kyle was at her house is because she had met up with her ex-husband and he had told her that he is moving to London and he is taking James, who I assume is her child, with him. And that would upset anybody, especially when your ex-husband is as powerful as Sutton's. And Sutton threw shade in the little confessional. She was like, listen, he's not just a realtor. Ooh, the words of Dee leaks.
Right.
Like, she said he's not just a realtor, baby. Like, I this can actually go that way. So then, Kyle had no divorce. He's like, you're divorced, so what? And I'm like, oh, what do you mean you're divorced? So what? She had to meet up with her ex. Like, even if she wasn't divorced, meeting up with your ex
They
is
still
really
have children that
stress-inducing.
are they share custody of.
Yeah, they share
They
children.
share
She's
children
been told
together.
her child could be taken away with her from her to another country to a man who's very powerful. And that was the first time we saw Sutton kind of speak about her divorce and the things that come with it. So yes, it's going to work out in Sutton's favor. She's going to have to go to court to increase the child support because though she had child support, the dad was active. There was joint custody. So she's like, I'm going to have him full time now, which is an adjustment. And she has to get her money up. So it sounds like they're fair within this, but she just doesn't want to deal with him with court again because he has an army, as she stated, of people to support him. And she doesn't. So Kyle lacked empathy as a whole. I don't understand it. I feel like when it comes to Sutton, if that was anybody else, Kyle would have been like, oh, that had to be hard for you. I understand. But with Sutton is, yeah, you're divorced. So what? And Sutton tries to explain, like, this is what you keep doing to me. It's like, I just tell you what I'm going through and you just swept it. Like, she didn't even sweep it under the rug. She swept that. She pushed that bitch and made her walk the plank. Like, Kyle was kind of ruthless in that situation. And they get to hollering and all of that. And Kyle says that what Sutton has explained to her about her spouse is that it's just an excuse for her bad behavior. And so Sutton says to Kyle, well, what's your excuse?
Exactly.
I said, let her know.
Right. Exactly. You better step on that next. You better step on that next step
and apply pressure.
Right. Because exactly. How dare you, ma'am?
Kyle was really insensitive to her friend. Now, while what Sutton's going through to people like myself and most regular people, it's like, it's the money. All we see is the money because we don't have it. Shit. We don't have that. However, somebody could fall and scrape their knee and I can break my leg. And to them, they could equate that pain as being the same. Not everybody's ideas of pain are the same. What's horribly painful to me could be something that James could deal with flying colors and vice versa. So even though, yeah, she's got money, yeah, she's not stressed about income, it doesn't mean that the situation did not cause Sutton pain. And Kyle kind of showed
I'm not
jealousy.
Naya, I am not fooling with you. I am not fooling with you tonight.
Wait a minute. I would just put it up because I can't say it. Wait a minute.
Nah, you the shade assassin, girl. Come on, my channel, please.
She said Kyle's inner demons are showing and cracking her face this season. Each wrinkle tells a story. Girl. I'm trying to tell you, James. One day we need to do a meetup and just watch.
Okay, Naya, come on my channel.
She said each wrinkle has a story. Damn, Gina. And she did. Naya, you had to know you had us with that one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Whoa.
Each story, her inner demon. She came at us with Allison Dubois, the black version. I don't care.
Okay.
She said your inner demons are showing and giving you wrinkles, bitch. And they each got stories. If that's not, give this woman an award.
Okay, Kyle. Inner demons are showing and cracking her face this season. Each wrinkle tells a story, y'all.
No, listen, no matter how much Botox these women get, it's like their wrinkles rebel. They are still extremely noticeable.
When I'm trying to tell you, that is so like you can't unsee it. It's like, man, God, that's how you know God don't like ugly.
Listen,
I'm trying to tell you, that's how you know God don't like ugly.
You look at people you went to school with, and they look about 70, and y'all the same age.
Right, that's what I'm saying. God don't like ugly, man. That's what I'm telling you. You can't see. That's why I say you can't throw dirt and think that it ain't gonna show. Like I promise you, it's just, yeah. Kyle's crazy. She's crazy. And that's what I say. I love Sutton for every moment that she keep putting that shit back on Kyle, because
She needs to.
when you tell someone that, oh, your circumstances are bad, yeah, Sutton get a lot of money for her shit. Yes, we understand that. I'm telling you, Sutton girl, I'm trying to be your friend. I promise you, my favorite housewife. I'm trying to be your friend. When you say all this money and shit, that doesn't negate the fact that a part of her is going to be missing.
Yep. Yeah.
Because
I loved him. And I'm like, you shouldn't have to explain that.
Yeah, a part of her, she's always gonna love that man because she built this life with it's and to me, she gets more details on the after show of where her husband left off and why it was so like such a crazy divorce, because he just up and filed one day and they didn't even talk about it. So yes, there's still a lot of love there, and this is someone she has a lot of history with. So yes, this is going to hurt her. And see, the thing about Kyle is y'all could have been in just a complete sister like conjuncture with this, because you're going through the same thing with your husband where you don't know how you gonna end up. So that's why I'm just like, you are so like Kyle's just, she's so vile, like
And Kyle says something that also kind of told on herself. Like, she says she's not being a friend to Sutton because Sutton explains that Kyle's not a friend to her. In my opinion, Kyle has never been a fucking friend to Sutton. And Kyle now says she's not a friend to Sutton because she's weird and off. And I don't like that, because James, how many times have you not heard from me? Sometimes for a year, maybe 2 years at max at a time. And then you come back and talk to me and I'm just like a little off. Or we see each other because he lived in a different state. It could be every few years. In the beginning, when I came to Arizona, was I not a little quieter? Just a little bit off.
You was quieter, but see, that's the problem. I met
someone's your friend.
Like, that's how I met you. When we met, you were quiet and observed. That's how you.
But I'm saying,
and that's what I know of you. Like,
end my friendship because I was quiet. Like, you're still a friend to me.
Yeah, anybody like that knows you knows that when you're quiet, it's because you don't know exactly where you fit, and until you figure that. Until you figure that out, that's when you then show who you really are. And of course, when you re-enter my life, I expect it when we see each other soon. Like, you gonna be quiet and observe, because I know you to be like that. I've known you since you were 16 years old. I know that this is what you were like. That's why I say that's why it doesn't bother me when you don't talk to me for months, because I know it's not personal. I know that you are going to reach out to me. And I know at some point when you do reach out to me, and you have a story to tell, and we're going to get through it together. That's how it works. I'm cool with that.
I'm going to tell y'all this, though. The reason I bring that up is because I think as you get older and become actual adults, you should have something going on with your life. If you're a homemaker, you're always cooking, cleaning, or doing something. If you have a career, which I was super into my career, I'm one of the people who will put work before everything. I'm working on it, though, y'all. I'm working on it. You not gonna hear from people more or often. So sometimes people could be off. Sometimes friends could be going through something. But just because your friends are going through something or off, it's worth the conversation. Like, you don't be less of a friend to them.
Just like in 2020 was my last year of being suicidal. 2020 was my last year of that. Nobody knew a thing. But also 2020 was the year I decided to finally become an author. That's kind of what I did. So, and I didn't speak to anybody. They could tell y'all when 2020 happened and we were in the pandemic, that was my chance to break away and actually have an excuse not to talk to anybody, because I did not want to talk to anybody. I did not want to go through it. I felt like my life getting older was not going anywhere. And it was so like sad. So when I see Kyle telling her friend who is trying to relate to her any way that she can to say, hey friend, you can tell me what it is and we will work through it. No matter how shitty you were to me, I'm gonna tell you this so that way maybe you can open up to me. But that's not what she did. What she tried to do was say, no, you're being strange, you're being weird, I don't want to open up to you, I don't want to tell you anything. And it was like, well then damn, she tried to do it, and then when you blame her for not being a good friend, it's like, well, damn, I tried. You wouldn't allow it. You wanted to look the way you wanted to look.
She wants from friends what she's not willing to give. That's what I noticed from this scene. And Sutton walks away, and I think it was the right thing to do. I think Sutton realized, like, there's no getting through to this wench. It's not going to work. Nia Green says it's a rare thing, that kind of friendship. Love to see it. Yes. But we've known each other forever, though.
We have, and we've been through a lot. Like, we've been through a lot too.
But usually it's both of us going through something in life. No one's actually done anything to each other, but that's why I value my friendship with James, because if something happens, it's because one of us is going through something personally. I don't have to worry about him stabbing me in the back and stealing my clutch. I don't have to worry about that. So I love him for it. Love him for it. Really do. Because who wants to watch that clutch around their friends? That's ghetto. So Sutton walks away from Kyle as she should, and Kyle's just left there like, huh? And, Crystal comes in. They get back out to dinner. Then Crystal says at dinner the air should be cleared. They should have the air cleared. And Kyle then says Sutton has been making threats to her. And I'm like, Kyle, nobody's making threats against you.
There you go, white woman in this situation.
White women do this.
Yeah, like there
they
you
like
go.
To act threatened or like they're in danger. And I don't like that shit. It's problematic. Like, you weren't threatened. You're not in danger.
You're not in danger. All she wanted to do was ignite with you in a way that it would have made her seem like she was being the friend you asked her to be, and you still are trying to make it seem like she's in some way trying to harm you, because she's not trying to follow the bullshit you're feeding her. Like, no one's going to follow that. That shit, the shit that you brought to her house sounded fucking stupid. And I was with Sutton. That's why I said a lot of people thought this was a bad look for Sutton. I'm like, y'all wasn't paying attention.
Kyle just disrespected her in her house. Got in her face, walked out. She did the most in her house. All Sutton did is come to a dinner after Kyle was tripping, and they said, "Where's Kyle?" She said, "Oh, I was off somewhere in denial about something." I said, "Oh."
Absolutely, because it was true. It was true. It was like she's walking out, she's in denial, and she's right. What else is she supposed to say?
Hot mess express these ladies were. So Sutton then says at the dinner table that Kyle is not taking her complaints seriously. And as I just stated, Kyle could not take what she dishes out. In my opinion, Kyle was wrong. And then she brings up Sutton and how Sutton never eats, even though we see Sutton eating bacon and other stuff. And I felt like, listen, if Sutton really does have what you think is a drinking problem and an issue with food, why would you fucking bring that shit up? Like, that's not okay. But I guess people gonna see what they see. Then Annemarie, who has nothing to do with the situation, and is a new housewife, chimes in. And this always happens on Beverly Hills with the new housewives. They chime in where they just should shut the fuck up and put the cigarette out. And Annemarie chimes in and brings up the fact that they both weren't saying shit, which,
ma'am,
you don't know this situation.
I was just gonna say, hold on, let me, because I thought I was gonna like her, and then already she rubbed me the wrong way.
Right,
ma'am, you do not know this lady. First off, so let's get something clear. You don't know this lady to be sticking up for her and defending. I don't care where in the point of the conversation you were, whether it was the beginning, middle, or end. You don't know this lady. You should have just sat there, ate your food, shut your ass up, and observe. Not sit up there and insert your little 2 cents because nobody asked you for change.
James.
Shit, no, because she pissed me off. Because you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Who the hell are you between you and facing over there in the corner? I could have sat at that table with y'all because I would have threw a piece of bread at both of y'all.
You're new here. We don't know you.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And Crystal did hint. She's like, Annemarie talks a lot. That's all I know. And I can see that. So Garcelle comes in because Garcelle gonna defend her homie no matter what she got to do. And Garcelle's like, well, Kyle, she mentions her marriage. And I'm like, yes, Garcelle, defend your friend. Because all these bitches act afraid of Kyle sometimes. And Erica, in my opinion. Kyle and Erica, they all act like they're afraid of from time to time. And once Garcelle brings up the marriage, Camille then brings up the potential about Kyle's ring. Camille is like, yeah, I went through that. I got an Aston Martin when mine cheated. I was
okay, for real. Exactly. That's the thing, Camille.
Exactly.
Because that's exactly what that seemed like. It would seem like that was a hush ring. That seems like that was, oh, I fucked up. Let me get you a gift. And that's why I'm saying, Camille, thank you, Camille. That's because y'all know Camille the real one. She really is. I'm mad that she didn't, that Lisa Rinna ran her off the show. Because Camille was the real one. Camille didn't give a fuck about y'all ladies. She said, "Yeah, I got an Aston Martin." I said, "I know that's right, Camille. You better step up."
Listen, keep it real, because most couples, if you're gonna get a new ring, it's usually,
first of all,
and I'm sorry, a fresh start, or you're going together because it's time to get new rings.
In Southern California, we know y'all have open marriages and affairs and shit. We know that
Southern California is wild.
Southern California is known for that shit. So why not get a push gift for it? Why not get a little hush up gift? And especially if you hold all the cards. I'm sure they don't have a prenup, so I'm sure you hold all the cards. Get your little gift, or be like Camille Graham over here getting a $50 million settlement from her divorce.
Listen, these women, and this is the last scene of the show, but what I will say, Camille bringing up the ring and all of this, Kyle or Faye Resnick, I believe, tried to say it's inappropriate to bring this up. No, fuck that, because you and Kyle and the rest of her little fucking clan of minions that follow her season after fucking season, especially Kyle, though, have felt their need to insert themselves into other people's business, to talk about people's relationships, to say what they think. Not just Kyle, but Kyle with the husband that she's trying to leave. Like, Kyle has been in everybody's business and marriage for at least 13 years, because we got 13 seasons. So it's interesting that it's suddenly inappropriate for people to be in each other's business when it comes to Kyle and when it came to Erica last season. So Kyle's bullshitting.
Exactly.
She said, I bought this ring for myself. Who buys their own wedding ring? Unless this is Love After Lockup, which I recap on Saturdays. Who buys their own wedding ring? Who does that? I'm not buying my own wedding. I'll be damned.
I don't even meant that she bought the gift. All she had to say was, I bought it for myself because I felt like I needed something I needed in the ring. Like you didn't have to go into all these dramatics. And Faye, let me explain something to you.
Shut up.
I want you in them lips to shut the hell up. I don't want to hear you, because you had your season to do this and you didn't.
Also, Faye, we still have questions from 1992.
Right. Yes. Do you want to expose?
Faye Resnick. Faye is no angel. A lot of people in Hollywood do not fuck with her outside of Kyle. So I'm just saying,
yes,
all be quiet, because they be in everybody else's business. Now that people want to be in her business, is suddenly inappropriate. I don't like that. So Kyle freaks out and she's like, if I want to not feel depressed, then and I'm like, boom, boom. Everybody who's a body language expert or psychologically trained, doctors trained in anatomy and biology, everybody can tell that Kyle got caught in some shit, and that's why she snapped like that, because now she's like, fuck, I can't get away from it. Because how are you going to get away from a topic that you've been avoiding with Camille fucking Grammer? A whole slew of women that know what to deal with you and Garcelle Buffet. You can't. Even Doris sat there just kind of, I'm like, Doris is real quiet. Doris, are you there?
No, she was there, and she did exactly what I wanted her to do in the scene, and I'm glad that mouth did not fucking open. I'm glad.
I'm just like, interesting.
I'm glad she just sat there and said everything with her eyes. I'm glad she did that, because it took off the distraction from looking at Garcelle sitting there with the fucking wigs on, and then it made me ignore that Faye was over there in the corner chopping off her choppers as if we give a fuck about her. No one cares, Faye. No one cares. I don't even know why you opened your mouth.
And then, Kyle, you did this weed party. I just want to say to Doris, on behalf of California and every pothead that exists, what the fuck are you doing with 1 milligram? Just tell them 0. You could be somebody who's never smoked before. You're not going to feel 1 mg of THC, baby. You're not going to feel it. I get it to my Nana, and she won't feel it. And she old.
Yeah, girl. They irritated me. This dinner irritated me. The little dude from the E Network irritated me because I feel
from the E Network.
He's a cute guy, but he irritated me. So he irritated me. So it was like,
Lord. Oh, Lord. The last thing we'll address is the comment, because that was the episode, not the bottom half of the state is hoeing and whoring. I swear to God, I don't know where you are, Naya, but if you're not in California, if you visit Southern California, it's probably one of the easiest.
You have to understand, there is a lot that moves out there, and a lot of people that want to get in on whatever that place is selling. I have seen it. I have dealt with it. I had a friend that was just on the phone with me crying, talking about how he don't even know if his son is his son.
Oh damn.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a friend go through something out there, and she got the guy. He expected like threesomes often. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, that, and then you have the ones, and you have the yes, and then you have the ones that you know are okay with their men being bisexual until the fact that they go over there and actually have sex with the men, and then it's a problem. But because he was paying the bills, it wasn't a problem. Then you just didn't think he was going to do it. LA does a lot of crazy things.
There's also
They
a
just
lot
do.
of people still living with people that they are broken up
with, yes, because they can't afford to move out.
The rent out here is
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, that's what I'm saying. There's so much going on in that. Like, honestly, that's why I could never go back to LA. I would rather, when I tell you, and what's funny is that when I had my first real estate opportunity, it was in Hollywood. And I was like, of course it would be. Of course it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
LA is wild. I couldn't do it. My husband is with doing music. That's where a lot of the performances and opportunities for upcoming people are.
The only way I would do it is if I get my own show.
Come on, boo, let's go.
That's the only way I would go to LA is if I get my own show, because I know how to actually ignore all of that shit and go home. I'm from California.
I love LA. I'm there often.
I haven't been in a minute, but
you just gotta be real secure in your
right. You have to be strong-minded as hell. You have to be. When I tell you, you can't let not a fucking thing bother you. You have to honestly. You almost have to be brainless to live in LA. You like almost, and I'm talking about brainless as stupid. I mean brainless where nothing can affect you whatsoever. Not a word, not a substance, not anything can affect you. Like, I don't want to say narcissist, but like almost like someone who is probably renaissancely impotent, like someone who is like that. Because those are the people that amaze me, that realistically can just move and not even.
I'm from California.
No, they can't be numb.
And I could not live.
Not
numb. It's
not
hard
numb.
to
No, not numb, because it's hard to explain it, because numb means that you're just not dealing with it. No, you still have to deal with people. You can't be numb. You just have to honestly be so self-aware and self-assured that even a fly on your face would even bother you. You would just walk with it.
Yeah, it requires thick skin, especially if you're out there for entertainment industry, which a lot of people,
especially that. Yeah,
a lot of people are, and then a lot of people out there aren't actually.
So my lawyers in LA.
Lawyers in LA or something. Nobody wants to deal with.
Lawyers
and politicians
are crazy
in LA.
Are crazy. They're the most. They are most. You thought Phaedra was bad. Hell, they got Phaedra beat. I promise you, they do. They sit there. It's funny. You just be laughing because you just watch them just lie, and it be the most craziest lie you ever heard.
Yeah, I couldn't live in LA, and I'm from California, and James is too. I think that's
I am. Yeah, I know.
Degree. You got to really be into what you're into. That is the recap of this episode of Housewives of Beverly Hills. Let me see. Season 13, episode 6. We will be back next week to go over season 13, episode 7. Same day, probably a little bit earlier. She said, help the Lord that can't be emotionally healthy. That is why I got a degree in mental health. I see dollar signs when I see my state. I really do, because everyone down there does seem on edge. I was just in LA. I was on Venice Beach. So I was like, oh, I'm from here. I've never seen it. Let's go see it since we're down here. Business execs and shit walking down the beach looking stressed out. Saw a man throw a hot dog down in a suit. People down there on edge. Anywho, but we will be back next week. The next recap for the people who subscribe to my channel, whether you're watching now or the live replay, will be on Saturday. We'll be going over Love After Lockup. And then on Tuesdays, we'll be back with James, and Wednesday and Thursday. We have lots of James next week.
We have lots of me, yes. Make sure you guys show up Tuesday on my channel. I am going to be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac, Married to Medicine. I don't know what I'm going to do with House of Villains yet, you guys. I'm still trying to figure that out, because the show just is not giving what it's supposed to give. Like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with the show. And Bell Collective, yes, I will be doing Bell Collective on Tuesday as well. Me and Mrs. Beth because I did it without her. So I'm not gonna do it without her anymore.
Well, I was like, I watched the show and I didn't comment on it. It was Bell Collective.
It was Bell Collective. Yep, I'm going to do Bell Collective. Y'all know I have to because I need to see what that rap gonna turn into. That shit's going to be funny, and we'll see how.
I don't know why this old man keeps trying to rap. I don't know, but
yeah, y'all men need to cut that shit out. Stop that and go get you.
We don't want it.
Yeah, nobody wants that shit. But anyways, I gotta go because it's late. It's late here.
No, you're good. James, thank you for being here. To those who watch my channel, we're gonna have a song review in about 30 minutes.
Good luck. I will maybe tune until I go to sleep.
Good night. Thank you, Naya, for being here. Y'all have a good night.